Today's video, I'm going to be going over the absolute most foolproof way to buy and sell sports cards for a profit in 2025 and beyond. It's a telltale and truthful way that a lot of people have been using for a long time. It would be the ebbs and flows of the sports card market. So if you don't know what I'm trying to say, that phrase and that those words mean in conjunction with each other, the ebbs and flows of the sports card market is just trying to say sometimes sports cards are high in price, sometimes sports cards are low in price. It's kind of a cyclical cycle, you can say. It would be pretty much times that the prices are lowest for sports cards directly after the off season, or for NFL particularly right now. Technically, baseball could be a good time to start buying potentially. It's usually typically once teams and start getting eliminated from the playoff contention and playoffs in general. So like right now, the Chiefs have locked in their run into the playoffs, so they're going to be going to the playoffs no matter what. It probably isn't the best idea to buy Patrick Mahomes cards right now. Technically, depending on how you look at it, it might be because he might get the three-peat, and then he might win. You know, if you think he's going to win the next 4 in a row, even he wins 7 in a row, it might be, you might have not much more opportunities to buy. It's not the best example, but for another one would be Josh Allen. So if you think he's going to win the Super Bowl, it's probably not the absolute best time to win or to buy into Josh Allen cards, unless if you are, and even then, you probably want to wait, I would say, personally, because usually prices right now, when the teams are the most hyped and about to start taking off, it's pretty much their market is baked in for the most part. You can find some, good deals here and there. Always, it does depends on how you find them and what you're looking for and all that. But yeah, so what I would personally be doing right now is buying certain players, certain cards, certain teams. So one example that some people might be thinking of buying in the offseason this year is Brock Bowers. He's just had the absolute best tight end, or, he's going to finish having the best tight end season we've seen in a long time from a rookie. Technically, Laporta just had an amazing one, but best tight end rookie season of all time is what I'm trying to say there. And people are going to be like, he's going to get a QB. He's going to have, his team's going to improve his overall hopeful stat line is going to improve next year because he's got a better QB. He's got Max Crosby on the defensive side. Defense isn't looking horrible, but, I'm a Raiders fan. So just when I came to think of it, am I buying Brock Bowers? Personally, unless if I find good deals on him, I'm not buying Brock Bowers. And here's why. I think a big thing with the tight ends is that, or with his particular tight end situation, a lot of people are considering the baked in, a lot of his prices are going to be having that QB situation baked into his prices. So like, just because like we have the number 1 overall pick right this second, right? Or if we're going to for sure get a top 10 pick and hopefully get a QB with that top 10 pick, and improve our QB situation, I think a lot of people are calculating that in. What I would personally be looking for is the stuff people aren't calculating in to their purchases and all that. So, for example, someone who's kind of having a resurgence right now, and someone I said earlier that you shouldn't even count out yet, I think people are being too hard on him, was Bryce Young. In particular, I was going to say Xavier Legette would be one I would potentially look at buying, but I think Legette could be a potential iffy situation because if they do draft a wide receiver that ends up being better than Leggett might take a back seat, and people might not love Leggett as much as they love the other wide receiver. But I don't think that's going to happen particularly. Could happen. I just think, like, look at the Packers situation. Packers are just a young team that have a lot going for them right now. Their prices can sustain Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, kind of, depending on, the time you're looking at those cards and all that. And then you got Romeo Doubs, Dontavian Wicks. You even have Josh Jacobs, and Tucker Kraft even. And Jordan Love, don't get me wrong, Jordan Love there. And then their market can sustain so much. But when you're considering those smaller market teams like the Panthers, you really want to go big, biggest thing you can possibly do, and that's in NFL terms is QBs. You want to buy the QBs, and Bryce Young, I think you buy now, at least you buy when, you think is humanly low as possible. So probably once they end up getting eliminated, I mean, technically they're pretty much already are for the most part. But I think right now around is probably the best time to buy him. He's kind of, maybe if you want to wait until week 17, I just don't think the Panthers are going to move on from him this year. I mean, technically they might in the middle of the year, but I think for the most part, you don't have to worry about them saying, you know what, we're going to start Jimmy Garoppolo over Bryce Young this next year, at least for the start of it. And that's the entire cyclical cycle. So you want to sell right before the season starts, right in the peak of the offseason. So once all the hype starts to build up and all that, the draft's done, literally people are doing their NFL fantasy football drafts. Once people are, the hype is there, you want to offload your cards and all that. Technically, even like upwards of like a month before or so, but typically probably a month, and a month right before, within that month right before. So right now for baseball, you still have a good 2.5 months to actually start buying cards. If you're looking for baseball buys, you probably wanted to start a good bit of time before. Just being completely honest there, you probably want to start, like I said, start buying right as soon as teams start getting eliminated for playoff contention. So like for the A's, you could always buy their cards, and I can say that because I'm an A's fan. Completely joking. Actually, we do have some good prospects, but I don't know. The last time we had a good prospect actually pan out, I think Astrid Ruiz is the last one. But yeah, jokes aside, so you want to buy big name people. So once basketball kind of takes a back seat here in the next couple months, technically football is the biggest prime time example right now of what you should be buying and then stashing away and then selling off right before the offseason, because right now is where it is make or break time for teams. Literally, I think there was no games in the early and the late slate, so that would be the 10 a.m. PST and the 1 p.m. PST games for NFL. There was no games this week, and it was week 14, which is like a very, very important week, both for fantasy football and determining who's going to go to the playoffs for NFL. But there was no game with both teams in contention for the playoffs. So that's how you already know it's already kind of starting to decide. So someone, let's say like Bryce Young, he might already be eliminated from playoffs, or we already kind of are guessing that they're not going to make the playoffs, right? So now would be a good time to start buying him. Maybe depending on how risk tolerant you are, and I would even say it's still a good idea, personally, for me, just thinking, to buy Bryce Young and then stash him away and sell him off right before the offseason. I personally don't do this method of selling. I typically just buy stuff, sell it, hold if I see fit. Technically, I've holded cards like Michael Wilson. And then he had a huge touchdown play. I sold him literally the week before. I was finally done with just holding his cards. I sold him the week before he had a big touchdown play and was super hyped up. So, that happens, but that's the moral of the story. And also, I'm going to give it a prime example of why you don't want to hold cards. If you're just wanting to, rinse and repeat buying and selling cards, you want the easiest way, you want to make sure you minimize your risk and all that, you really don't want to hold cards. I'll give a prime example. Zamir White, I bought 2 of his cards. I actually have, because I'm a Raiders fan, I had a whole bunch more of his cards that I could have just offloaded right before the season, and now I'd be lucky if someone wants to buy those cards. I think he might have a resurgence in his career. Hopefully. I just don't. I don't know what the rundown is on why he's doing so bad. People are saying he just has a lack of vision, all that. He had a really good, when he was with Jacobs and we had the different play caller and all that, and we had a different kind of play style. He was doing really good. So maybe he just needs a new scenery. Maybe he just needs a different playing style, different coaches, something of the sort there. So yeah, he could go to a contending team, say, someone who needs a running back or help at running back, like the Cowboys. I mean, they're not the biggest contending team per se, but someone that could, need the running back help. He revitalizes his career, and, but for me, I don't like to do those buys either, but just because someone's hot and people are hyping him up and all that, and people are thinking he's going to be the next big thing and you got to buy him up, and then the safest, absolute most foolproof way and best way to buy and sell sports cards from now till forever will be to then buy the lows and sell the highs, which is typically always for football right now, especially because we are in December and the market kind of already takes a back burner, a downward trend right now, and then it picks up January. So you want to kind of, make your plays, especially if you're considering for football plays, probably make some now, depending on who it is and all that, and what you think their market's going to do. A big thing could be, I know Rashee Rice still sells really well. I was going to say, look at Rashee Rice's situation. There was a long period of time where you could just buy those so cheap. People didn't even want them anymore, and now people are buying them up like hotcakes. So yeah, I'm going to do this mail day real quick. I might talk a little more about the buying and selling aspect, but this is a card I'm going to sell on Whatnot probably each and every Wednesday, 6 p.m. PST. I go live, sell a whole bunch of cards. This week we're going to do progressive lots. So if you're looking for a ton of cards for Christmas presents, literally, I can just show some of it right now. I'm going to be selling off, literally I'm just going to be making stacks like Algier. These are image variations like James Cook rookie, Micah Parson, Prism logo, like literally Jordan Addison, Devon Chain, Chris Olave rookies, Marvin Mims, Devon Witherspoon, literally big name rookies, whole bunch of stuff, some really cool stuff in here, just stuff I'm sitting on and want to then move on from and do kind of a soft reset. But this would be something I would run on my $1 auctions. Typically, what I used to do is every single Wednesday, 6 p.m. PST, I sell 300 to 400 cards. And they all start typically at $1, 5 second and 10 second sudden death, though we have been kind of leaning towards 10 second sudden death, but in the future, probably, go back to 5 seconds here and there. But yeah, Jadeveon Clowney, this is like a mosaic, I think gold Spectra Prism, number to 15. Just a beautiful card. Jadeveon Clowney. I got this for like less than $3. I'll probably try to pop up the screen. And then also, these ones are all beautiful cards. Beautiful cards for the PCs. So if you don't know, I collect mosaic serial numbered football stuff. So we got, this is just something I've had. Jimmy Garoppolo, Purple Disco, number to 50. Sky Moore, number to 96 here on the Blue Sparkle. And then you got Jerry Jeudy, just had the 2-touchdown game and like 250 yards literally a week ago. And out of 49 on the purple mosaic prism there. And then you go Greg Rousseau. Gotta get that thing back to its top loader. Or back to its sleeve in the top loader. I'm just gonna get a new top loader if I can. Alright. But Greg Rousseau, Blue Disco, No Huddle, Prism color match out of 75 here. So just a beautiful color match. Bills, Greg Rousseau, defensive player. Doesn't get a lot of love. I think I picked this up for literally like $2 and change. And then you got Jarvis Landry on the purple prism, numbered to 49 here. Jarvis Landry, beautiful parallel there. Juice, you got 2 purples, and you got blues, and you got, so out of 50, 75, out of 96, out of 15. And then I collect a particular basketball player, if you didn't know. Technically, shout out to you for the card. But he's my favorite basketball player. His name is Bogdan Bogdanovic. He's my favorite basketball player. He is the Serbian sniper, they call him. He had an absolute career overseas, all that jazz. But he didn't have a Prism rookie his first year, so technically this is like his second year Prism card, but it's his third year for the playing days. But he doesn't have many rookie cards. I'm collecting a whole bunch of them, but I like to grab some bogey stuff every now and then still. Technically, I did make a bigger purchase at a card shop a little bit further away from me with another one. But yeah, figured I'd support them, and I didn't know anyone who was going to buy bogey other than me, so wanted to buy that from them. And then found this for so cheap. I now put up the comps here, but good, cool mail day. Some stash away stuff for me, and then a beautiful Jadeveon Clowney number 15 Spectra. And when you need inventory, stuff like this comes in handy for sure. But so yeah, if I had to recommend one thing, I would be buying right now. I would be looking into your own buys and all that. The potential buy could be Trevor Lawrence. I just think it's it's a prove it or lose it situation for him going into this year, potentially, depending on how you look at it. I don't know. There's quite a bit of other players you could buy. I'm sure it's just, I think Bryce Young is probably the most prominent example of someone who people might be not so hot on, and you can then ride the hype train up the next couple months. That would be kind of my guess if that would be your situation at hand. I should have kept my Bryce Young. I had a Bryce Young National Treasures rookie out of 49. Sold that during the Whatnot card show. I got I don't even know, less than $10. I paid I pretty much paid more than what I got for it. But I should have kept that card. It should have been just a card I kept. But you do certain things like that, especially as a Whatnot seller, so that hopefully in the future people remember that, they bought that card from you and they've had great experience buying and selling cards from you, and then they'll come back. And then, yeah, so that is my suggestion to you would be to consider buying and selling the ebbs and flows of sports cards. Do some research more on when the highs and lows are for your particular market. For hockey, soccer, I'm not too sure. But yeah, I want to do prospecting. I mean, that's your thing. You know, I buy prospects all the time, don't get me wrong, but I buy prospects to sell. I don't buy prospects to hold. Technically, the only one I really bought was Zamir White. Maybe more, but and that's because I'm a Raiders fan too, so, you know, it is what it is there. But yeah, so I am going to end up calling it here, I think. A good, nice 20-minute long video. Let me know, comment down below what other topics you'd like to hear me talk about. I know someone said how I decide what cards are gonna, you know, what cards I'll sell and whatnot, and what cards I'll sell elsewhere. I'll make a video about that. Potentially, maybe my next one. I'm not too sure. It seems like a very simple topic, so I'm kind of worried about the traction that one will get. But, you know, I think we'll try to pull it off here. But yeah, so let me know down below if you are still watching. Video suggestions potentially, and if not, I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy. Have a good one.